those little bugs. They come from the ground and they return to the ground. This came out of a rental house over in Gastonia that we treat for termites as well. This actually, believe it or not, came from the roof, which is very unusual. Usually termites, well, not usually, they always come from the ground, and they usually eat what's closest to them. But this house had a very bad termite infestation. And what had happened was it was following the moisture. This was a rafter in the roof, and actually there was a leak. I got two pieces here. You could see there was a leak, and the termites were following the moisture. But the reason this wood is very interesting, I'll pass it around, just be careful because it's kind of flaky. It has two different types of damage, and I want you to be familiar with the two. It had, see that the cubicle, looks like kind of alligator in there? That's actually moisture damage. If you just saw that alone with nothing else, that would be because of moisture. And a lot of times people confuse the two. You'll get moisture damage around trim, around your front porch if it's not caulked real well. Anywhere where moisture gets to untreated or unprimed wood or unpainted wood, you'll see that moisture in alligator. But termites do like that. So that attracted the termites. And see, termites do this kind of damage. They shell out the spring wood. And I'll pass that right there. I'll get you to pass that in. What they do, you know how wood has rings in it? Like if you cut the side of a log, and you see those rings, that spring wood, they'll eat that, but they leave the harder wood, so it's like pages of a book when they get done with it. Here's another piece. This just barely has termite damage, but you can see where the moisture damage was as well. I'll pass that around. It's not quite as bad, but see, in termites, because they come from the ground, they make shelter tubes.
You can tell the difference in the weight and the wood.
Yeah, it shelled that one out pretty good. But what they do is, the telltale sign for termites, see that mud? It was kind of a sandy soil over there. That's why it's always going to reflect what the dirt looks like because they make these tubes. And as you can see in this slide, see these mud tubes? This is actually a basement, but there's ground, actual dirt here. See how they're making those tubes? They keep their environment totally enclosed for two reasons: for moisture, and they protect themselves from ants. Ants and termites are natural enemies. Oh crap! Scratch up your thing.
No, yeah, don't worry about that.
But the big thing to remember with termites are they come from the ground, they return to the ground. Highly recommend a termite inspection. You probably won't have to have it if it's an existing home because they have a pre-treatment. They have to treat the soil before they can frame it, and the house is very, very new. But they'll probably come with a termite bond. I highly recommend you renewing that. It's usually like 100, could be 75 to 150, but in that range each year where they come out and inspect it. But termites and moisture are number 1 and 2 on insurance's studies of what causes the most damage to houses. This is what they look like when they're live. I actually, when I first had that board, I had some live ones in there, and I did a presentation at the Keller Williams over Valentine, and they're right beside the Prudential there. They told me to leave it, the live ones over at Prudential. And then another lady said she just got divorced with her husband, and she'd take that over to his house. Can of worms, I don't want to open there. This is what the termites look like.
It doesn't reflect on that screen because it's
This is the termites live, if they were still alive. These are the worker nymphs that you see the most of, the little white ones. These are the reproductives that come out in the spring. And termites try to reproduce and make new colonies. The colony can be a couple 100,000 up to 2 million. This is a fireplace here. And see, termites, this is actually a garage with a fireplace in it. And termites aren't going to come right up through the middle of a piece of concrete. Actually, we're on a crawl space here, but in the garage, we'd be on a slab. They're not going to come up through the middle unless there's a crack. They usually come around that on a slab that there's always an expansion crack around the edge. So there's basically 2 types of houses in our area. You've got a slab and a crawl space. Crawl space, they're going to come up with anything touching the, where do they come from, guys?
Ground.
The ground. Hey, everybody give themselves a piece of candy there for good answer.
Still awake? There you go.
That's some junk. But now slab, you're right on the ground. You have 4-inch piece of concrete, but you have an expansion crack all the way around the edge. So normally they're going to come up around the perimeter. There's exceptions to everything. I'm just telling you what you're normally going to find. Let's talk about a couple things here. So termites come from the what, guys? Ground. So when we treat termites, or termite companies treat, what do you think they're going to treat? The ground. They're basically going to treat the soil in all areas that are adjacent to the house. So like this house, this office, is basically This is a combination. You've got a crawl space here and a slab garage over here that's been converted. So basically, they're going to treat the soil on the outside and inside of the foundation wall and around. There's piers underneath us holding this thing up. They're going to treat all those. So they're treating all the soil that or the termites could come up. And they're going to make tubes. And they also have to drill the piers because there's a void inside there to get in there. But basically, treat the soil. And that's another thing that's going to come out in your home inspection. Obviously if you have termites or termite damage, but also if it's been treated before, you can tell by the drill holes and stuff. And if it has been treated, the next question you ask is, well, did it have termites? Because termite treatments are rather expensive. Most people don't have them treated for preventative. Some do, but most people have to treat them because they had to. And my next question that I always tell my clients is, all right, ask the owner, did you have termites? When did you have it treated? And is your bond still up to date? That sort of thing. Now, I will tell you this. We have in our area eastern subterranean termites, which there's also a Formosan termite, which they have like down in Florida and Georgia, and it's a little bit even the eastern part of the state. Those can do a lot of damage in a short amount of time. The one we have here, the eastern subterranean, they can't do a lot of damage in a short amount of time, but left unchecked over a long time, they can do a lot of damage. Like this house here. They had to rebuild the whole back wall on this rental house. That's up close. There's nymphs, but this is actually the soldier. This is probably more than y'all want to know. It picks up after this. The soldier protects the colony. If you break a tube open, these guys come out. See, they got the little pinchers on their head. They protect against. If you ever see a mud tube and break it open, these guys will come out to meet you because they think it's ants. They defend the colony against ants. Any questions on termites?
You
Okay.
said to make sure you do a termite inspection. Do you do that? Or
Yes.
is that someone else?
Yeah, we're licensed to both.
Okay.
We are.
How much does